Hey y'all, long time no see. I didn't post on Monday because I'm exhausted. I low-key think that I need to get medicated for my insomnia. However, I was on TikTok live and they were saying that they'll put me on antidepressants before they give me actual sleeping medication. Correct me if I'm wrong or if I got the wrong advice, I don't know, but I don't even like taking Tylenol for my periods. So I just really don't want to be medicated for anything like that. So I'm trying to fix it myself. So I've been exhausted, kind of pulling all-nighters, trying to get myself to be tired at normal times. Do you get what I'm saying? It has worked a couple times. But either way, I've also been in the middle of midterms. I found a new nail tech and I went to Barnes & Noble and did, just a few errands throughout the week. Had work as well, of course. But either way, that's the one thing I want to talk about. Or I actually want to talk about two things in this video, obviously, from the title. But let me talk about the books that I've obtained from Barnes & Noble. I started this collection of, I guess, classic literature, some of the greats, right? Because Barnes & Noble, I guess, does these like really gorgeous covers. Like, isn't this amazing? So I didn't realize that at first. The time that I went to Barnes & Noble months ago, when I got these two books. I started it out with these two, right? And I was there and these caught my eye and I was like, wow, these are gorgeous. Like, oh, Wuthering Heights. I feel like I need to read that because I hear about it all the time. I didn't read it in high school. Right? I need to get into it. And then I also bought the Moonstone because I thought it was gorgeous. And I love Moonstone. And when I read the description, it was, what did they describe it? Detective novel, right? So I was like, I'm interested in that. Let's do it. So when I read the description again, when I was about to read it, description? Yeah, that's what it's called. I'll read all of the descriptions that I got while I'm showing off my books. But I realized, I guess they print out all the classics, right? Cool. Oh yeah, what else made me realize this? I was, sharing this with my coworker and she got her master's in like English. And I was like, yeah, I just went to Barnes & Noble and I got a couple books like The Moonstone and Wuthering Heights. And she was like, OMG, The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins. And I was like, I guess, is that book famous? So that's another way that I realized that these are all classics. So yeah, The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins is about a fabulous gem looted from a sacred Hindu shrine during the siege of an Indian city. With his dying breath, one of the shrine's guardians tells Colonel John Herncastle that the Moonstone will have its revenge. 50 years later, Herncastle bequeaths the diamond to his niece Rachel Verinder as an 18th birthday gift. An act of generosity or a malice-driven attempt to transfer the curse. Rachel receives the jewel at a family gathering, but when the next day dawns, it is nowhere to be found. Scotland Yard famed bloodhound Sergeant Cuff is soon on the case, but he is thrown when the prime suspect commits suicide. Teasing, torturous, and utterly gripping, The Moonstone was hailed by T.S. Eliot as the first and best of modern English detective novels. So it was pretty good. Do I recommend this? It is a little big. It moved a little slow for me. But when it was set, I think it's set in like the 1800s, UK type. It made me obsessed with Victorian furniture. I bought this furniture set. I found it on Facebook Marketplace when I was reading these books, right? I was like, It's amazing. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I was also engrossed in the ending. Like, I don't know. It was, glad I have it. Would I get through it again? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. So, yeah, read that at your own risk. But I love Wuthering Heights. It's one of my favorites. Obviously, not all of these are that big. So, this one was awesome. It made me change my outlook on love. I cried in the middle of it. I really did love this book. And maybe I also thought about getting it and reading it because they were talking about the movie of it, like the live action, the new one, and they were talking about who was going to be cast for it, or who is it still in the works? Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie. I don't agree with that casting. I'm just saying, after reading the book, I think you will understand it doesn't make any sense. But either way, having taken over the tenancy of Thrushcross Grange, Mr. Lockwood visits his landlord, Heathcliff, at a neighboring Wuthering Heights. A former housekeeper relates to Lockwood Heathcliff's story, that of a fondling brought there by Mr. Earnshaw to be raised alongside his own children, Hindley and Catherine. Hindley's contempt for the perceived outsider increases when he becomes master of Wuthering Heights, while a close spiritual bond forms between Heathcliff and Catherine. That bond is stretched to breaking point when the adult Catherine chooses a refined, sophisticated Edgar Linton of Thrushcross Grange, who offers her the chance to be the greatest woman of the neighborhood. Heathcliff disappears only to return enriched, years later, a destructive force of nature bent on avenging past wrongs. His machinations eventually make him master of both properties, but the spiritual connection with Catherine transcends revenge, and Heathcliff is a victim as much as a victor. In Emily Bronte's only novel, I hope I'm saying her name right, passions as wild as the moors surrounding Wuthering Heights are unleashed. Too disturbing for many tastes when first published, this dark tale of love and loss, power and possession, action and terrifying reaction stands as one of the greatest works of fiction in the English language. So yeah, Emily Bronte, trying a different way. I guess this was her only novel. OMG. Mind you, when I went to Barnes & Noble on Wednesday, I saw that there was this there, and then there was a book next to it of a woman with the same last name. So let me know if her sister or daughter started writing too, but maybe I'll get into that one next when I go back. Either way, this book, can you believe that too disturbing for taste when it first came out? Yeah, they do that when they find out a woman writes it, right? Because with Frankenstein and Mary Shelley, when it was an anonymous author, they were like, this is really good, right? Right? It's a little gothic. But then once they found out it was a woman, they were like, how could she write this? It's just like, y'all, come on. Anyways, the books I bought this, oh my God, did I buy this much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I bought 5 of these, and I will read them this year, for real. The 5 books I bought: Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Don't know if I'm saying that right. Russian literature, right? He's Russian, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. But when I wrote down all of my book recommendations from TikTok, when January 20th was about, when TikTok was being weird in the US, I was like saving everything, right? And there were a few works, not this one, but there were a few works from this artist that I wrote down. Let me see which ones they were. I wrote down The Idiot There was this one woman saying that that was her favorite book now, and I'm like, OMG, I want that one. Hopefully they print that one in this, right? In this, with this brand. Who is this? It says Chiltern, I guess is the publishing company, or I don't really know how book printing works, but Chiltern is who's, you know, making these pretty copies of these books. But yeah, I wrote down The Idiot from this author. The Brothers Karamazov. Hope I'm saying that right. Was there another one? I swore there was another one. Maybe not. Ooh, there was one from Wilkie Collins as well. Same one from the Moonstone. I wrote down The Woman in White. Maybe I'll have to get into his. Gotta get that if I see it. I think that was it from Dostoevsky. So yeah, Crime and Punishment. Let's see what this one entails. And let me know if y'all have read these and if they're your favorites or if you hated them. I guess. I don't know. I will get through a book that I hate. I don't have a do not finish list. I'll suffer through it. Either way, destitute ex-student Raskolnikov has murder in mind. He plots to kill an old pawnbroker, justifying the savage act by postulating that his work to society is greater than that of his parasitic victim. A bloodhound policeman is on his trail, however, and Raskolnikov also wrestles with the torment of guilt in Dostoevsky's masterly exploration of criminal intent and the avenging agent of conscience. That sounds interesting to me, for real. But yeah, let's just look at that one more time. Pretty cool, right? I mean, I guess it's not the most gorgeous, but it goes along. The point of it is these are all classics, right? And so I'm down to buy them. Next one that I got, Jane Austen, Mansfield Park. This one's gorgeous, obviously. Red. Ooh, look at my nails. How cute. Jane Austen, right? I've heard about her. Okay. Let's see. To relieve the pressure on her impoverished, overburdened family, shy young Fanny Price is sent to live with Sir Thomas and Lady Bertram, wealthy relatives who reside at Mansfield Park. Of the Bertrams' own four children, only the younger son, Edmund, shows her any real kindness. And over time, Fanny falls in love with her cousin. With Sir Thomas away on overseas business, Mansfield's social circle gains two superficially attractive new members, handsome, worldly Henry Crawford and his witty, vivacious sister, Mary. Flirtations abound as Henry cavorts with the two Bertram daughters, one of whom is already engaged. Even more galling to Fanny, who stands aloof from all the shenanigans, is the fact that Edmund falls for Mary's dazzling charms. The waters are further muddied when Henry trains his roving eye on Fanny herself and becomes a very earnest suitor. Austen's recurring themes of manners and morality, rank and responsibility, vice and virtue lie at the heart of Mansfield Park, widely regarded as one of her mature masterpieces. I think that somebody actually has recommended this to me on one of my TikTok lives, and I write down what y'all recommend to me. Let me see. Maybe somebody recommended Mansfield Park to me, I swear to God, because they kept telling me to read Jane Austen. So I'm excited to read that. Doesn't that sound drama? That sounds crazy. Okay, and Fanny, she's just standing there like, what? Another one from Jane Austen, Persuasion. How cute, right? Look at how pretty, y'all. Like, I'm obsessed. This is my collection. I love trinkets. I love little things, right? But in all honesty, my children, my grandchildren, if I don't have that, my nieces, my nephews, this is what they can look forward to inheriting from me. These gorgeous books, right? Ooh, look, I also have this like ashtray. That's kind of cool, right? I don't know. It's like from Amazon. Anyways, Persuasion. In her last completed novel, published posthumously, Jane Austen revisits the theme of mischance and misunderstanding along the road to personal happiness. Circumstances force vainglorious spendthrift Sir Walter Elliot to let out the family seat, Kelly Lynch Hall, whose new occupants, Admiral and Mrs. Croft, open up old emotional wounds. Mrs. Croft's brother, Captain Frederick Wentworth, was once engaged to Sir Walter's second daughter, Anne. Okay, I'm keeping up. Who was persuaded to break with the dashing but penniless naval officer, as much for his benefit as her own. Captain Wentworth's fortunes have since prospered, but the pain of past rejection burns deep. Anne can only look on with regret as her former love seems to have another in his marital sights, while she finds herself with a new ardent suitor in the shape of Sir Walter's heir. Having been forced into prudence in her youth, quote unquote, the mature Anne must use her own judgment, exercise her own will, should a second opportunity present itself. Damn, Jane Austen, she was for the drama, obviously, but you know what I'm thinking? With all of these names, you know, Kelly Lynch, Walter, Croft, Frederick Wentworth, I personally have trouble keeping up with those types of names. It doesn't stick to my brain. I think they're all the same person. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I'm a reader and I'm a Pisces rising. So when I read books, I'm the type to like make movies in my brain. Like I can automatically see everything happening as a movie. That's why reading books is pretty easy, right? I mentioned that because I found out that not everybody does that. Somebody made a TikTok about like, why do y'all read books? Like this is what you're seeing. And people were like, no, that's not what some of us see. So I guess I'm lucky, but yeah, when it's these types of names, and mind you, obviously this is set in like early ass UK, Germany, like those types of areas. I'm just like, I have a hard time with these people with these names. They all look the same to me. The only reason why Wuthering Heights is, you know, a little bit easier is because Heathcliff is obviously not white, from my understanding. I don't know, y'all. But either way, next one, the Iliad, Homer. So I was like, this is huge. Let me show you. Pretty cute, right? Circles. Pretty similar to Crime and Punishment, but this other big one, the Iliad, Homer, I was like, what story is this? I don't know if you've ever watched Troy with Brad Pitt. My mom was obsessed with that movie when I was little. I guess I read the description. This is what this story is, I guess. This is what it sounds like. It reads, the Trojan War rages on after 9 long years. Agamemnon, leader of the Greek army, lays siege to Troy, whose prince, Paris, stole the beautiful Helen from Menelaus. king of Sparta and Agamemnon's brother. The chances of victory are then struck a damaging blow when Greece's greatest warrior, Achilles, refuses to fight. Honor, glory, friendship, and fate are central to Homer's epic, which marks the birth of the Western literary tradition. Alexander Pope worked for 6 years to produce his celebrated English translation of the Iliad. Written in heroic couplets, Pope's text is renowned for conveying the grandeur and vitality of Homer's work. Period. Okay, Alexander Pope translating. Okay, Homer. I'm excited for this. You know, maybe this will be I don't know if I'll read it this summer. Maybe this seems like a end of September, October read for me. I'm just thinking. And then last but not least, yeah, I guess that's 5. All 5. The Scarlet Letter from Nathaniel Hawthorne. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Obviously, the ones written by women are perfect. Oh no, this is Nathaniel. Okay, whatever. Well, yay! Scarlet Letter. I was like, heard about it. Read Easy A. Or no, I watched Easy A. And she was always mentioning that book, right? So, yeah, I'm pretty excited. And then I read the description and was like, okay, talks about New England. I think the white side of my family is actually from New England. Or somewhere around there. So let's get into it. Hester Prynne emerges from prison holding an infant daughter born out of wedlock and finds herself an outcast in a judgmental community ruled by its unbending puritanism. Also, I kind of like purity culture. It made me, I was like, maybe this is relevant to read right now with us going back to conservatism, you know, trad wife, all of that. I was like, let me read this. To mark her infamy, she is forced to wear the scarlet letter A, a badge of dishonor for an adulteress who refuses to reveal her lover's identity. Hawthorne's masterpiece deals with the fallout of a perceived sin, the consequences of concealed guilt, the clash between private conscience and public morality in 17th century New England. I would hate to have lived in like 1600s, 1700s America, right? Particularly the US, because wasn't free. What they talk about make America great again. It wasn't great for absolutely anybody. They just want to be racist again. They just want to, you know, be able to slap a woman when she talks and they don't like it, right? They just want to be able to say, that woman's a witch, and then burn her at the stake. You know what I mean? It's like they want to be able to do all of that shit, y'all. Make America great again. That wasn't good for literally anybody. Like anybody. Even white people. Like if you were poor and white, it wasn't good for you. You really didn't have access to education until, you know, slaves were freed, and then those black people fought for their education. It's like everybody needs education. I don't know. That's also something that I study, you know, with my midterms coming up. That's my class. It's school and society. We're talking about how public school even came about. What did it entail? Who started it? All the nitty gritty of the things. What's the point of school? Is it for propaganda? Is it to push people to vote certain ways? It's like, that's what I read for class. That's what we talk about during session. So, yeah, that's why I wouldn't love living in this era. But this one was small as well. I'm super excited to read all of these. OMG. Let me know if y'all have a favorite or if you've read any one of these. But either way, should I get a puppy? Should I get a dog? Somebody I went to high school with, or went to my same high school, she was a year older than me. Gorgeous. We just had some really good conversation at my best friend's birthday party. Oh my God, not even this past January, but last January. Time goes by so fast. And she posted this picture of this cute tiny puppy, right? Long haired. And I was like, OMG, so cute. Black. I've been wanting a small dog. My work is pretty laxed, and I think I'd be able to bring it much of the time. You know what I mean? So I asked her about it, and she's like, yep, here's all the info. Her neighbor's rehoming it, right? She says it's a half Pomeranian, half Chihuahua. So it's gonna say small. I'm like, oh, is it loud? You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe this is a new path for me. But I've been wanting something to love, but I'm also very non-committal. I love my freedom. What's gonna happen? I don't know. We'll see. If the universe lines everything up perfectly, then it's meant to be. If not, I'm very okay with it. But either way, I think he's a boy, so I might be having a child soon. I'll, of course, let y'all know if that happens. But yeah, let me know if you guys have a favorite book, if you think my new collection is cute. Like, I can't believe I have all of these. This is so fun. But yeah, I'm excited to read all of those right now. As you know, I'm reading Asada, an autobiography. I think everybody should read that. It is a little bit of a hard read because it speaks on the experiences of Americans in the 20th century. Okay? We need to see things from different perspectives. I think everybody should read up on that perspective. Go ahead and go and look into Asada, especially if you need something to read for Women's History Month. Happy Women's History Month. Yeah, either way, love y'all. I'll be posting on TikTok because I need to get rid of all my drafts from this phone before I log into TikTok on that phone, right? I can't lose these drafts. Like, me recording, it takes a lot of effort out of me. Like, for real, I'm trying to do something. And me recording takes a lot out of me. Me even editing the way that I do, which is not particularly great. But even the fact that I do it, it's just like, I'm not a tech person. I'm not, I don't like this shit. But I'm trying to post. I'm trying to put out certain perspectives because there's too many red pill extremist perspectives on the internet. Let me dilute it a little bit, okay? Either way, I'm gonna get back on to posting consistently in YouTube. I will be recording this weekend, so yeah, love y'all, and